Welcome to Acorns to Elmwood with Rob. Today we're going to be making a Monk Mix puppet kit for Raspberry Pi. We just got a whole bunch of the Monk kits in the store. They're all pretty exciting. And we'll do open box. Oh, it's empty. Just kidding. Here's all the parts. So it comes with a puppet, marionette really, technically. Screws, some stickers. I really like this labeled laser cut board. Tell you where to put things. So you can screw your parts in. Space for the Raspberry Pi, which you will need. I'll be using like an older Raspberry Pi since it's just driving servos. There's the Monk Mix servo motor board and the infrared PIR sensor. Because of some jumpers, 4A batteries, instruction manual, which is quite good so far, and these are like the arms that are going to be attached to the servos here. So what I'm going to do is just assemble things to the board, and then we'll go from there. Okay, so we got the board all assembled. So what you do is there's little wood spacers that they give you, and you just use them as risers. And then so you put your Pi on. I'm using a Pi B Plus here, like a Raspberry Pi 1, because all it has to do is drive some servos. And you screw the servo board on a similar manner, and then this is double-sided tape, and the servos are all double-sided tape too. And then you just I think I put the wires on in the wrong order. Fix this right now. That's pretty hard to do one-handed. So using the included female-female jumper wires, we went to the servo board and mapped the output of the first 5 pins into the super handy Raspberry Leaf, so it shows you the pinouts. So all you have to do is match the chart in the instruction booklet. So you just go pin 1, well, start with ground. Ground, which is 1 to ground there, and so on. So just to get this far, this is like pretty fun. This is one of the kind of better kits I've made ever. So let's move on to the next step. So for the terminal blocks to connect the battery connector, you will need like a jeweler screwdriver, which I only have my hex micro screwdriver here right now, so we'll do that part later. Just be aware of that. I think that's the only thing that's not really mentioned in the manual. Moving on, I'm going to build the servos next. So for the next step, we need to boot the Pi, and since it's a Pi B Plus, you'll see that I have an Ethernet cable, if you remember those, if you were only raised on Wi-Fi. So this takes a while to boot. Typing terminal commands in isn't going to show up too well on the video, but I'll see if I can screen cap it. And if it makes sense, I'll put that in there. Otherwise, I'll put it in the comments. So I've got the library installed, and it's a relatively straightforward GitHub process. So now what I'm going to do is run the servo test program, which is in Python examples puppet, and that's the Python file we're going to run called block. And those are all the values being sent to the servos of the degrees they're going to turn. Ignore all that stuff. Here's the board, and you can see that the servos are turning in turn, so everything works. So I do have to point out, when I first built it, I put those servo attachments on backwards. So they should be the silver kind of terminal side up. And here's, if you've never assembled a terminal block before, you need to loosen it all the way, and then the wire goes on top of the little metal block, and then you tighten it. Okay, so that's all good. So now I'm going to attach the mounts on the servos for the next step. One tip, if you want to know how to get out of this part, make sure you have focus in the terminal window, and Control Z will exit that. For this part, I just peel that off the sticker. It does sit on there snugly, but I got one of the screws without the flush mount, the bushing around it, and then I'm going to just reattach them with the double-sided tape. Picking the puppet mounts, just be aware that there is a side to them. So like set up two like that, and then they're going to go inside and the inside for the two things. I'm using small these screws. I can't macro enough. There. That screw without the bushing around it to attach them. So we have the puppet liberated temporarily from the strings, and we're going to attach it to these parts now. And back to time lapse. Okay, so that's it. Time to make a dance.